I'm a little guy. I'm 5 foot nothing. And I started 4 years in Division I baseball. Now that served me well at that time, the underdog attitude, the I've got to have grit, I've got to have grind, and I've got to do unrealistic things.
Welcome to Success Reimagined. I am Dr. Amna Shabbir, your host on this journey to thrive at the intersection of ambition and wellness. In every episode, I'll help you challenge outdated definitions of success, discover practical tools and strategies for growth without compromising your well-being. I am so glad you've joined me. Let's reimagine what's possible together.
Today, I'm excited to introduce Larry Long Jr., the CEO, Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises, focused on motivation, inspiration, and most importantly, transformation through speaking and training programs. A motivational speaker and MC, he is also the host of the weekly live show, Midweek, Midday Motivational Minute, and author of Jolt. A former college athlete, Larry is extremely passionate about coaching and helping leaders take their game to the next level. An experienced sales leader with a demonstrated history of success in software sales, Larry brings a unique perspective to the table, understanding many of the challenges faced by professionals today. Welcome, Larry.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Amna. I appreciate that kind introduction, and thank you for passing the microphone. Happy to be here.
Your energy is infectious. I cannot ignore that. The Chief Energy Officer's energy. And also for people who don't know Larry, yes, this is going to be a fun conversation. And if you want to know somebody who has an unreal amount of microphones, well, now you're seeing that human. I have no idea if you have them all accessible. Oh my goodness, here we go. And yes, I really
Just
like the
don't
roast
drop the
gold.
mic.
Yes, oh my goodness. Well, Larry, this is incredible because I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling and mirroring your energy, just transformed myself as well through the screen. We've had earlier interactions. And I specifically wanted to pick your brain on this topic and this project and this journey I am on, in which I'm having conversations surrounding perfectionism. So when you hear the word perfectionism, what does it mean to you?
It hits me right in my heart because for so long in my life, I had an unrealistic expectation that I had to be perfect in everything that I did. And lucky for me, I had the opportunity to work with a performance coach, a business coach who worked with me, and we played with different concepts around my relationship with failure and some of my unrealistic expectations and how they were holding me back and not allowing me to be in my greatness. So I did publish a book called Jolt, but my coach essentially gave me an electrical jolt to get me in a place, in a space where the power of perspective and realizing that it's okay to not be perfect. There's none of us that are perfect on this earth.
That seems very personal when you take it down and you break it into further pieces and you really look at it, that I don't have to, like you mentioned two words in there that were, first was unrealistic expectations. And the second you draw on is failure. Take us back to that moment a little bit where you felt, okay, this is the time I am failing and I'm having a hard time handling this. Take us back there.
Yeah, well, I got to take you back to my baseball playing days. I played baseball at University of Maryland, go Turks. And in the game of baseball, if you're a 70% quote unquote failure, you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're going to go to the Hall of Fame. You're a 300 hitter, 30%, and people are going to be patting you on the back. I grew up with another college athlete. My father ran track at University of Maryland, long jumper, triple jumper, very into the details in terms of getting his steps, making sure that his jump, and just observing him. It's amazing how powerful our environment is. Seeing my father's discipline, his dedication, and his quote unquote unrealistic expectations, it came on to me. Now, my father grew up in Baltimore City, where not many of his colleagues, classmates, family members really had the opportunity to succeed. And for him, this unrealistic concept of going to college, he made it realistic. This unrealistic concept of having a well-paying job and raising a family that's in a stable environment, He made that realistic. So for me, seeing that, I always had quote unquote unrealistic expectations, which propelled me. Little guy, I'm 5 foot nothing. And I started 4 years in Division I baseball. Now that served me well at that time, the underdog attitude, I've got to have grit, I've got to have grind, and I've got to do unrealistic things. And what I realized that in business and in life, giving myself grace and understanding that it's okay to try and try again and learn, you're either going to win and or learn from those attempts where you don't win. And that's okay. And it was really for me getting over that hump of I don't need to be perfect. Good enough is oftentimes good enough.
Good enough oftentimes is good enough. So I'm hearing your journey. I'm hearing you paint this picture. You're at home. Your dad's also an athlete. There are messages that are around you. There are messages to like dream big, those setting those unrealistic expectations and then going and meeting them. But then also at the same time, taking a breath and recognizing when things are good enough or it's okay. Because here's a fear that I have is the inability to feel joy wherever you are at because of those expectations. So while it is so amazing and wonderful that we're striving, when we let that sneaky conversation of perfectionism come into play, we just find ourselves stuck. What are some of the messages that you feel potentially that you might have internalized from your environment when you're growing up?
Failure is bad. No, that was the message. My relationship with failure is no, we don't do that. We don't fail. Whatever we do, we succeed at. And that's just not realistic. It's great to strive for. And I'll say yes, and knowing that if you're trying great things, if you're stretching, you're not always going to be successful. And that's okay. Take a deep breath. Someone out there needed that deep breath right there. Yeah, it's okay. You're going to be okay. What's the lesson learned? And as my good buddy Stan Phelps says, what's the lesson earned? Sometimes as we go through life, the lessons earned are the most impactful lessons. If you're a boxer, when you get knocked out, you realize, I don't need to move that way anymore. If I don't want to get knocked out, it's the same thing in life. There's two ways that you can learn. You can learn from mistakes that you made, or you can learn from mentors who have made that mistake. I love to learn from mentors because I tried it my way of learning from my own mistakes. And although it's good, I prefer to learn from others' mistakes. But it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you test. That's how you gain data. That's how you learn what is the right path. I zigged there and I should have zagged. So it's really a big experiment. And you talked about joy. I make an intentional and conscious choice to not let that voice, it's still a voice that's in my head. I don't let it steal my joy. You talked about being present. I think they say be at where your feet are at. Life is good, but it's a choice. I tell my kids every morning when I drop them off at school, make it a great day. And they say, it's my choice.
As we talk about failure and you're trying to normalize failure, I really appreciate that. A lot of times when we talk about mistake and failure, the word that comes up for many high achievers is rejection. And there is research that shows that social rejection activates the anterior cingulate cortex, which is the same part of the brain that is responsible for processing physical pain. And this effect, it's particularly pronounced in perfectionists who fear failure and rejection. And as you look at your experiences and you look at the people that you mentor, you go out and you give these amazing talks and all of this aside, just life in general. What do you say to somebody who is viewing that and who's really feeling that very real manifestation of pain from rejection?
First of all, I tell them it's okay. Secondly, I tell them in the spirit of the Olympics and the Paralympics last year, on your mark, get set, go. And go right now. Go right now. And realize that your body is doing what it's supposed to. I think I'm a psychologist, but I think they call it fight, flight, or freeze. That's what the body's supposed to do. hey, thank you, body. You're protecting me. But there's no lions around. There's no tigers, no bears. Oh my. Hey, body, I got this. I'm okay. You're doing your job. I got it from now. Hey, you can rest and relax. I'm going to go ahead and take this leap of faith. I'm going to go ahead and experience the fear because it is real and it might not be physical, but it feels like it. And I'm going to say, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to still fight through it. So I share with people, it's okay. Let's recognize that the feelings are real feelings. And it's okay for us to say, you know what? I'm good. I got it from here. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it my best shot. And if it shakes out great, great. If it doesn't shake out great, great. I'm going to learn. And now I'm going to go and try it again. If you think about it, when we're babies and we're learning how to stand up, we don't do it on the first time. We fall down. But then we find a way to claw ourselves back. We don't just give up. We try and we try again. When we learn to walk, when we learn to run, when we learn to ride our bikes. I had some skin knees. I think I still got the scabs and the scars. It's okay. But sometimes as we get older and quote unquote wiser, I got a little bit of gray, got a little salt and pepper. We think we got it all figured out. And it's like, I'm not even going to give it a try. For me, that's what I define as failure because you didn't even try. The real success is in giving it a try, trying the process, learning from it, sharing your learnings with other people, and then trying it again, doing something a little bit different. But that's just my definition. So I encourage people, and there's someone who's listening right now, Dr. Amna, that's noodling on an idea. They're noodling on a tough conversation. I want to extend and give them permission. Larry Long Jr., CEO, Chief Energy Officer, gives you permission to go ahead and give it a try right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. You don't have to wait until January 1st. Right now. Let's go.
Larry, I'm going to be that person noodling on the idea, and I'm actually going to answer that. I have the idea. I've been noodling on it, but it's just not perfect enough right now. And I have to account for all the variables. And I have to sit there and I have to make sure the idea is good enough, I'm good enough, all the possible iterations of things, all the decision trees are mapped out. What would you say to me?
Ooh, this is personal right here. And I'm going to say, I hear you, Dr. Amna, but do you? That's the question. Do you really have to account for all the variables? Why can't we go right now? I'll give you a real live example. This was back in 2020 when I formed my business. Actually, no, it was 2021. I had gotten let go from corporate America, and I didn't want to update my LinkedIn profile until my website was ready. My coach said, Larry, if you wait until your website is ready, you got your speaker reel and your one pager, we might as well wait until 2025. That's when everything's going to be perfect. And by that time, the opportunity has passed you by. I said, you're right. She said, well, what you going to do? Are you ready to move forward? I said, nah. Well, why? And we listed out the pros versus the cons of me updating my LinkedIn profile. What if someone asks, where's my website? She says, let them know it's coming soon. When I stepped over that fear and I made that leap of faith, that jump, it was amazing. I think I had 700 reactions on my post. Only one person asked me about my website, and I actually got business. But I was so afraid. I was so scared. I wasn't even scared. I was scared of rejection, of failure. They're all going to laugh at me. When in reality, not the fake news, that this voice, I call it Cletus. Come on, Cletus, you're going to walk over, but you're going to live back. That voice, Cletus, is powerful in my mind. But the voice of my father, I lost my father 9.5 years ago, Larry Long. And he shared with me, you can't have my name, Larry Long Jr., with a punk. He threw in some 3-letter, some choice 3-letter and 4-letter words, if you know what I mean. With a punk attitude like that, that's not how we roll. You're more than a conqueror. Let's go. So I would share my story with you, Dr. Amna, and ask you to play with what are the pros of moving forward? What if you were to succeed wildly? And then what are the cons? and let's look at them objectively and on paper or on a board, and let's document, do the pros outweigh the cons? And oftentimes they do. And if they don't, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's assess that idea that you're noodling or doodling on. Is it even the right idea? And let's get to a point where sometimes you got to just say, fear be gone, fear you're with me, and yes, and I'm still going to go. If we work through that exercise, I believe more times than not, the answer is let's go. Because the time that we take to noodle on it, doodle on it, get everything, all of our ducks in a row, I think they call it, the opportunity is passing us by. And if we don't do it, there's someone else out there who will. So you pick your poison. Do you want to give it a try or do you want to wait? And I hate to be morbid, but I don't know if your listeners and viewers know this. The place that holds the most dreams, it's the cemetery. Think about that. That's deep.
Yeah.
So many people go to the grave, noodling, doodling. I wish I had. Don't wish you had. Live your dash and live it brilliantly and brightly right now. Opportunity is knocking at my door. It's knocking at your door to be great right now. I said it earlier, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, right now, this second. Whatever time it is when you're listening, when you're viewing this, the time for you to be great is right now. Let's go.
I'm trying to come up with better words than just saying wow, because I'm feeling the energy emanate from you right now. Just based off of what you've said, I was reminded of a quote that came to my mind when I was really struggling with making a big life decision as a physician deep in the throes of burnout. And my friend sent me this quote by Erin Hansen, which was, "There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky." And I'm paraphrasing because I'm forgetting the exact words. "You're afraid falling, but oh my darling, what if you fly?" And so that is what fear does to us, and the over perfecting and trying to account for all variables. There's a really big part of what we go through in terms of rejection and failure and all of these elements, and that is social media. And sometimes it feels like not only is the compare and despair game very strong, but also it's like our failure and rejection is also so public. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts. Other people's opinion is none of my business. What others think, and it's only natural. I want people to know that you're normal. I mean, there really is no normal. So you're you, and that's the normal you. So whatever feelings you're going through, it's okay. And I encourage you. I applaud you. I celebrate you to even give it thought. And I encourage you to take those thoughts and put it into action. Because oftentimes our greatness is on the other side of us breaking through that fear of rejection, fear of failure, whatever those fears are. And oftentimes those fears, I can speak from example, are unwarranted. They're fake news. They're not real. I think they say it's false evidence appearing real. And it does feel real. You're like, oh my goodness. When I first started doing videos, it was at the encouragement of a mentor. And that's why the power of your environment, the power of your community is so important. One of my many mentors, Morgan J. Ingram, said, "Larry, you got to get on video." I said, "No, I got the face for radio, Morgan." He said, "Yeah, you do. You're ugly." I said, "They're all going to laugh at me." He said, "Larry, I hate to break it to you, but they're already laughing at you." He said, "I'm going to tell you what my mentor told me. If you don't do it, you're being selfish." I said, "Hold up, wait a minute. I'm not selfish. Those are fighting words." He said, "Everything that you're telling me is about you, and it's not about you. It's about someone else who can benefit. Someone who looks just like you, Larry, needs to see you and needs to hear your voice. And if you deprive them of that, shame on you." Whew, that was powerful. That hit me right to my core. And that was on a Friday. The following Wednesday, I went LinkedIn Live on video. I just hit my episode number 250 of going live every Wednesday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern for my midday motivational minute. It would have been recorded. It would have been written. If it hadn't have been for the encouragement if it hadn't have been for that fire that was lit and the keeping it real of, Larry, don't be selfish. It's not about you. It's about someone else in order to spur that action. So once again, Dr. Amna, someone needs to hear this. It's not about you. It's about the impact that you can have on others that are waiting to hear your story, that are waiting to experience your greatness. Are you ready? I believe you are. You're on this earth for a reason, which is a miracle. Let's go ahead and be great. Don't be mediocre. Go ahead and have fun. Take some risks and enjoy each and every moment. What I found is that oftentimes it's great to win, but oftentimes the most fun is had when you're experimenting and you're quote unquote failing. When you're losing, I played baseball at University of Maryland. You can check the Carfax. You can look at our record. We were losers, but we certainly had fun. I've got stories for days, and those relationships, those bonds, those learning lessons, they're priceless and they last a lifetime. So I just hope that someone who hears this episode, hears my voice and your voice, is inspired to take action, is transformed to take what they already know deep down inside and actually put it into action. That's where you start to see, we're cooking some things up. When we start to put things into action, it's like, I learned that lesson. Won't do that one again. That one worked right there. Let's go. Come on now. And it's so important to do it with a smile on your face. Your attitude, it really does dictate your altitude. That might seem a little hokey. People are like, I don't believe that hokey pokey stuff. I do. What I found is that the better my attitude is, amazing how things just seemingly fall into place more times than not. Does that mean I'm perfect? Not even close. But does it mean I'm having a great time? You better believe it.
Love that. Especially the focus that you're drawing on joy and the fact that attitude does matter. I'm trying to rack my brain and come up with the actual study that I'll research it later. But what they talked about was how the energies of the humans around us affect us. And what is attitude? It is a manifestation of your energy. Like when you walk in, and it's like that saying that all the air got sucked out of a room when somebody so-and-so walked in. It's kind of like that. What are you trying to manifest? And attitude, again, is also a manifestation of your mindset. So there's a lot of actual evidence-based, conversation-based of what you just said. I now want to shift gears just a little bit because we all have our very unique journeys. And still circling this conversation on perfectionism, as a Black leader in business, you have a very unique perspective when it comes to the being perfect, the pressure to perform, from being an athlete, from being in business. How do you think that has potentially shaped your just being, like the things that are expected of you?
Ooh, that's a great question. And it's taking me to a place I don't like to go often, but I will. In the world, let's call a spade a spade. Sometimes folks from marginalized communities need to be 3x, 5x, 10x better than those that might have a privilege and just have greater opportunity. It is what it is. That's both lived experience as well as others' experiences as well. That can be a challenge where you could feel like the odds are stacked against me. The deck is not in my favor, which it might not be. It's okay. Let's play the game. Let's go ahead and roll the die and see what happens. So mindset and perspective is so important. And I've made a choice, and I encourage folks to be intentional and realize that you can make a choice and you can control the controllables. We'll call it tea, since we're here in the South. Sweet tea. You can control how you treat other people. You can control your emotions, and you can control your actions and your attitude. Outside of that, you can control a lot of these external factors, other people, what they do, and how this situation is. You can't control it. So once you realize that you can release that, now you can dedicate your resources, your energy, your focus, your mission, your vision on your prize. Where are you going? Keep your eyes on the prize, and let's go ahead and give it our best. I think Tony Horton from P90X has this quote that I love. When you're doing those pull-ups and struggling, he says, try your best and forget the rest. And I love that. Forget the rest. It's okay. Let bygones be bygones. Let's try our best and see what happens. So yes, as an African-American male, I can't control it. I've been baked, twice baked. I got a nice tan, and it is what it is. I'm living my life to the best of my ability. I'm focused on how can I positively impact as many people as I can, because my time on this earth is not about me. It really isn't. That's my perspective. It's about how many other people I can impact, generations upon generations, to have that impact. It only takes one seed to really create a forest. So for me, that's my intentional vision. That's my mission each and every day. And that's where my focus remains. Where what you focus on is generally where you get results. So all that other stuff, ain't nobody got time for that, Dr. Amna. I don't have time for all that other BS. I'm keeping my eyes on my crown.
Larry, thank you for your perspective share on that. I want to ask you about when you look at this wisdom, and I hear you, and even in talking about your book, you talk about the dialogue that we have with ourselves, the voice in your head. And there is research out there that tells us perfectionists are severely lacking in self-compassion. I would love to learn more about how are you driving all this energy up for yourself, for everyone? What is the conversation that you have with yourself? And was it always the way it is right now? And what shifted there? So take us to the voice inside your head.
Oh, you don't want to go there. The research will say, boy, something's wrong with that voice. But chapter 1 of my book, what story are you telling yourself and believing? My book was really a manual to help me get unstuck. I was stuck. I was stuck in a corporate America career and job that I didn't find meaningful. I didn't find purpose in. I put a smile on my face, but I was faking it. And you can't fool yourself but oh so long. And luckily I have a partner, my wife, Maria, who challenged me and said, baby, you're not happy. And it took that for me to do a lot of self-reflection, and the research is spot on. I'm oftentimes my worst enemy. And my coach, Kristen Freyd, said, Larry, you befuddle me. I said, first of all, I can't even spell befuddle, but okay. He said, you're so positive with everyone else. You're so just uplifting with everyone else. But when it comes to you, and this was when I was writing my book, he said, you're so negative. I'm going to call you negative Nancy, Nelly, and Ned. I said, gosh, is that bad? She said, yeah, it's that bad. She said, you talk more smack and more junk to yourself than you would ever talk to anyone else, and more stuff to yourself than you would ever let someone speak to you. Why is that? And I shared with her, I expect the best out of myself. I expect excellence. She said, okay, everyone does. And your self-talk, those limiting beliefs, are holding you back. They're not serving you. And when she broke that down and she said, let's play with, let's explore what would happen if you actually encouraged yourself the way that you encourage other people. If you uplifted yourself and said, hey, Larry, I'm going to celebrate you and not just tolerate you in all your ups and downs and highs and lows and twists and turns. That's life. I'm going to be more supportive, and we're going to be more just really accommodating, I guess you would say, giving yourself grace. And it's been a process. It hasn't been easy because my natural default is, what are you doing, Larry? You big, oh, how dare you? What are you doing? Oh, no. That's my natural default. But I've had to sit back, which is tough, reflect, take a deep breath, which is really tough. It's tough for me to slow down and realize, hey, Larry, you're not serving yourself. You're not supporting yourself in the best way possible. And if you're really serious about being the best you can be, you'll be open to making changes. And I'm still a work in progress. I'm still a whip. I don't have this perfected, not even close. And I'm intentional with working on it and trying my best to be as good as I can be. Once again, good enough is good enough. And I realize for me, it's a daily practice because every day there's opportunities. I was just at the gym earlier. There's opportunities to give up. No, Larry, hang in there. You said that you were going to do 30 minutes. Let's do 30. Hang in there. You got it. Try your best. Forget the rest. That's been a process. Because in the past, it's been like, just give up. You're a failure anyway. Who do you think you are? And it's like, I'm okay. I'm going to do the very best that I can. I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, even through the sweat, even through the pain and suffering, and realize, hey, my health is my wealth. What's my why? I'm not the Black Simon Sinek, but what's my why? Why am I doing this? Why am I on a fitness journey? Why am I putting myself through eating a salad when I want to eat the steak? Oh, goodness. I'm licking my shot. I encourage others that, hey, if nappy-headed little Larry Long Jr., back before my barber was mad at me, if Larry Long Jr. can do it, anyone can do it, because I'm going to keep it real. I'm just an average Joe who's named Larry. I'm just an average person. And I believe that you are brilliant, and let that brilliance shine. Don't hold it back from the world. Let it shine, and shine brightly, brilliantly, and right now. That's my command. I don't like to command people, but I'm going to command people. The world, especially right now, needs your brilliance. You better believe that. I don't have the research. I know you do, but I have the lived experiences of knowing we need you, and you've got it. You've got it inside of you. You were made with greatness. And if you're here, if you're listening to this, you're already great, because you've been through some stuff, and you've proven that tough people, you and me, are greater than tough times. Come on now.
Thank you, Larry. I have to add over there, you said celebrate versus tolerate, which was such a great both wordplay and a way to view the way we have these conversations with ourselves. I really appreciate that you invited us to look at the process, that it is a process, because self-criticism and self-compassion has been the most rewarding and most challenging frontier that I've personally been on as well and it continues to be a process. With perfectionism and with all these conversations, one of my primary purpose is to draw the listener and the viewer in to the point that there is no one, I'm going to flip this switch and everything's going to be fixed. There's no instant success. There's no, I'm going to give you 3 tips and hack your way through everything. We are all humans. We're all flawed. And focusing our energy on the process and the joy and the journey, which is unfortunate. Like when I'm especially sitting with these extremely smart humans and we're having these conversations, such as the one we're having right now, the word that keeps coming up again and again is discontent, because we can do more, we can be more, we can have more, and then we are going to resort to beating ourselves up in the process.
I always like to ask, when is enough? You talk about more, there's always more. You talked about it earlier, comparison. Sometimes we believe the hype. If you look at social media, I can't speak for others. Sometimes when I look at social media, I wonder to myself, am I the only one who's flawed? Am I the only one who has stuff? I'm going to give busy 13 stuff going on in my life, because everyone else seems so perfect. They have it all going on. And what I realized is you're only seeing one portion of what people want to share. And oftentimes they don't share the messy stuff that goes on. I got a mullet outfit. It's a mullet office right here. It looks good on the top. But if you were to look down, you would be like, oh, good. What in the world? So when we look underneath the hood, under the covers, it's like, oh, now I see why they don't share that part. And it's okay. I encourage people, don't compare to other folks. You never know what they've been through. You never know what's going on. Find the joy, the content, the satisfaction, the meaning in living your life, staying in your lane. And this isn't scientific, but be you, boo. Do you, boo-boo? Yeah, I'm giving you permission. And enjoy it. Life is meant to be enjoyed, I believe. That's my philosophy, and that's my choice. Every day I wake up, and it's my choice that I'm going to love life. I ask myself this question every morning. It's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing to help others? So for me, that's how my day goes. Larry, what are you doing to help others? Larry, what did you do today to help others? If I can't answer that question, back to the drawing board. We need to make sure that we have a more fulfilled and meaningful day. And thankfully, after we go to sleep, we get another opportunity.
This is wonderful. You are so right. Spot on. And this beautiful quote by Dr. King and the way you're articulating it, Larry, is also something I've been thinking about is, in a way, because of all this individualism and this emphasis on all the things you should do and you could do, we are, in a way, becoming a bit more self-absorbed. And that's a question I was actually going over with my own coach with. I am worrying about all these things. Like, I need to be perfect. I need to be the best doctor. I need to be the best mother. I need to be the best coach and business owner, blah, 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 all my other roles. Am I being too self-absorbed sometimes? In a way, it guaranteed all those roles as a physician, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, I'm serving others. But there was this moment where I felt a bit myopic, that I'm really focusing on what's really going on in my head, and having that perspective, which allows us to step back, is wonderful. So with this, I want to invite you to share any parting words of wisdom as we wrap up for today. And how can our audience connect with you, learn more about you, get some of that energy going in their lives?
So my parting words, we just had a great conversation. I know folks are shaking their head. Yes, they're listening in the gym, they're listening during their commute, and they're taking notes. My biggest encouragement is do something, please. Take action. Even if it's a small action, take action. Do something right now. There's no guarantees in life, but I guarantee that it will give you some progress. It will teach you a lesson by doing something, and hopefully it'll make you feel good that you actually did something. Most of the folks out there do nothing. And it's crazy. I had this conversation with my kids. I don't want to hear you complain about the results you're not getting from the work that you didn't do. You got to put in work if you want to get something out. So that's my biggest encouragement. And please know, don't do it alone. If you need support, I'm here to support you. Larry Long Jr., you'll probably hear me before you see me. You can find me on my website, Larry Long Jr. That's jr.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Larry Long Jr., the man with 2 microphones. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I try to limit my social media. The key word there is try, just to protect my mental space. But I'm always open to connecting. I'm always open to serving. Like I said, what am I doing to help others? If I can ever help you, I'm telling you, I'm giving you an open invitation. Let me know, please.
Thank you so much, Larry. This was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Amna. Keep shining brightly and brilliantly.
This episode is part of a special series and my budding book project on unmasking perfectionism. You might believe you don't have the time or energy to focus on yourself, but this is exactly the right time to get serious about your well-being. You don't have to do it all alone. I'm here to help. If you enjoyed this video and are ready to take the next step, head over to dramnashabir.com, where you'll find free resources you can access right away. The website link is below. Let's get started on your path to thriving. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. Just a quick reminder, while I am a physician, I'm not your physician, and nothing in this podcast is medical advice or any kind of professional advice. Everything shared here is based on my personal experiences, and the views expressed are entirely my own. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love for you to rate, review, subscribe, and share the show with anyone who might need a little inspiration to redefine their own version of success. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep reimagining success one small step at a time.